Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by tall mountains and thick forests, lived a young priest named Atto. He was known for his wisdom and kindness, helping the villagers with prayers and blessings. But Atto had a secret that would lead him into the darkest mystery of all. Atto was a man of faith, dedicated to his gods and to the people of his village. Every day, he prayed at the shrine, asking for protection and prosperity for his people. The villagers trusted him, for they believed his prayers kept them safe from harm. But even a man of faith can have dreams. Dreams of a life beyond the village. Dreams of love and adventure. One evening, as the sun was setting, Atto saw something strange. A woman standing at the edge of the forest. She was beautiful, with long flowing hair and eyes that seemed to glow in the fading light. Her presence was enchanting, almost like a dream. Atto felt a pull towards her, like nothing he'd ever felt before. Curious and entranced, Atto approached the woman. She smiled at him, a smile so warm and inviting that the trees around her seemed to come alive. Her voice was soft and sweet as she spoke, telling him her name was Akosua. She asked for his help, saying she was lost and needed a place to stay. Without hesitation, Atto invited Akosua to stay in the village. The villagers were curious about her, but they were also charmed by her beauty and grace. Everywhere she went, Akosua brought light and warmth, and the village seemed to flourish with her presence. The crops grew taller, the animals were healthier, and the villagers began to whisper that she must be blessed by the gods. As days turned into weeks, Atto and Akosua grew closer. They spent hours together, talking by the river, walking through the fields, and sharing stories. Atto felt happier than ever before, and soon he realized he was in love. Akosua's laughter was like music to his ears, and he couldn't imagine life without her. One night, under the light of a full moon, Atto confessed his love for Akosua. He told her that he wanted to be with her forever, to make her his wife. Akosua smiled, but there was a sadness in her eyes as she agreed to marry him on one condition, that they keep their marriage a secret. She warned him that the consequences of their union would be dire if the secret were ever revealed. And so, under the cover of night, Atto and Akosua were married in secret, with only the moon and stars as their witnesses. Atto was overjoyed, believing that he had found true happiness. But Akosua's secret was much deeper and darker than he could ever imagine. One night, after many happy days together, Atto awoke to find Akosua gone. The door was open, and a cold wind blew through the room, sending chills down his spine. Fear gripped his heart as he realized something was terribly wrong. Atto followed her trail into the dark forest, his heart pounding with fear and confusion. The forest was alive with strange shadows and eerie sounds, but Atto pressed on, determined to find his wife. He could feel the presence of something ancient and powerful watching him from the darkness. Deep in the forest, Atto discovered something he had never seen before. A hidden entrance leading underground. A faint, eerie light glowed from within, and as Atto approached, he saw Akosua disappearing inside. His heart raced as he realized that this was no ordinary place. Atto entered the underground world, a place filled with an otherworldly blue light and twisted trees with glowing leaves. Strange, shadowy figures lurked in the distance, watching him with eyes that seemed to pierce through his soul. And there, at the center of it all, stood Akosua. But she was no longer the woman he knew. She was the queen of the Underworld, a powerful being with a dark and ancient past. Akosua's true form was both terrifying and magnificent. She wore a crown made of bones and a flowing black gown, her eyes glowing with dark power. The ground around her cracked and shifted, as if the very earth was bowing to her will. Atto realized with horror that he had married the queen of the Underworld. Akosua explained that their marriage had bound him to her world, that he could never return to the village. The connection between their worlds had already begun to take effect. The village above was growing cold and dark, as if the warmth and life were being drained away. Arto was trapped in the underworld, destined to live in darkness forever, all because of the love he had for her. Arto was devastated. He had given up everything for love, only to find himself trapped in a world of shadows. Akosua watched him with sorrow, knowing that she could never undo what had been done. Her love for him was real, but so was the curse that bound them both to this dark fate. As the creatures of the underworld closed in around him, Atto looked back at Akosua one last time. Her eyes were filled with tears, but there was no escape for him. He was bound to the underworld forever, his love for Akosua becoming both his salvation and his doom. And so, Atto's story ends, not with joy, but with sorrow. He had found love, but it was a love that led him into the darkest place of all. The villagers never saw Atto again, and his story became a warning to all who would follow their hearts into the unknown. There are many more tales to be told, so subscribe to African Mystic Folktales. And join us as we uncover more stories of mystery, magic, and destiny.